Bob Biswas is one of those rare occasions when Bollywood has attempted a spin-off. In this case to Kahani, the 2012 film which was both critically acclaimed and a box office hit. It's a film about the fan favorite assassin from Kahani who moonlights as an LIC salesman and hides his real job, that of a contract killer. Namaskar, 1 minute became quite the catchphrase in its day, and Sujoy Ghosh has now attempted to bring to life his favorite character, quite literally. The thing is that Bob Biswas suffered a brutal death in Kahani, or so we thought, until the spin-off somehow changes that to a near-fatal accident that left him in an 8-year coma, which also impaired his memory. The coma also somehow managed to change his height and face, as he now looks like Abhishek Bachchan instead of Saswata Chatterjee, who played the role in the original film. But that's the director's prerogative, and we won't delve into this from here on. We are only interested in how the character arc plays out. Anyway, coming back to the plot, we learn that Bob has a wife, Mary, played by Chitrangada Singh, a young son and a teenage stepdaughter who is Mary's daughter from her first marriage. Before he even gets to settle down into his newfound life, Bob is forcibly taken away by some shady cops and effectively ordered to return to work as an assassin. All this while Bob is trying to figure out what kind of person he was before he lost his memory. The ending of the film is dark and brooding, but it also leaves the possibility of another sequel open. Before we go ahead, here's a clear warning for viewers who haven't seen the film yet. There are major spoilers ahead. Okay, with that said, the ending explained. Towards the end of the film, we cut to a scene where Bob and Minnie, his stepdaughter, are now standing at the graves of Mary and Benny after finishing off the people responsible for their death. Minnie still blames Bob for what happened to her family, though they still live under the same roof and Bob is still taking care of her. After Minnie leaves, Bob talks to his dead wife and he promises to be with her soon once Minnie is settled, indicating that he no longer has a desire to live. At this point, he gets a message on his mobile phone and it is revealed to be the photo of Kahani's Vidya Bagchi, played by Vidya Balan. An evil smile appears on Bob's face and he utters his famous catchphrase, Namaskar, 1 minute. It's obviously a tease for a sequel which, if it ever gets made, may pit Bob Biswas against Vidya, the one person who got away from him. But there are a number of unanswered questions about the film itself which the sequel will have to address if and when it gets made. Question number 1. Is Bob Biswas a sequel to Kahani? When I first watched the film, I thought it was a prequel to Kahani or an origin story, but after watching it, I'm quite sure that it's a sequel to the 2012 film. It's mentioned in the film that 8 years have passed since he was in a coma after a horrific accident, and we saw Bob Biswas get into one such accident in Kahani. So the story in Bob Biswas is a continuation rather than an origin story. Yes, the actor who plays Bob Biswas may have changed, but the story gets a continuation in this film. Sujoy Ghosh cleverly uses Bob's memory loss to start the story with a blank slate. Question number 2. Has Bob recovered his memory? Now, if Bob Biswas is indeed set after Kahani, it brings us to the next question. Has Bob recovered his memory? In the last scene when he sees Vidya Balan's photo and starts to smile, does he recognize her as the person who caused his horrible accident? Which means, did he recover his memory completely? It appears to be the case, although one can't be sure unless another film starring Bob Biswas comes along and clears the confusion. Before we go ahead, I'd like to say thank you to all my viewers who are still watching. I know it's super annoying to hear the words like and subscribe, but that's the only way I get to know that I'm on the right path. So, dear viewers, only and only if you think my videos add some value to your time, please smash the like and subscribe buttons. Question number 3. Who is sending Bob his assignments? Bob has already killed the people who used to bring him his targets, but the closing scene shows that he keeps getting more such images. So who's the person responsible for sending him pictures now? The only people who know about his identity are Indira, played by Tina Desai, and the IB chief who was saved from Bob by Indira. So are they using Bob to eliminate their own enemies? If that is the case, what did Vidya do to become a target again? Are there some anti-national elements still after her life, even when she has gone into hiding? That too using a secret identity? Question number 4. What about Bob's awakening as a good person? Now, Bob is seen earlier in the film praying to God and asking for forgiveness for his crimes. He even wonders whether he is a good or a bad person. But in the end, he's once again seen accepting contract killings. What happened in the 6-month period after he killed his wife's killers for him to have a change of heart? Is he completely evil now, or is there a shred of humanity still left in him? That's certainly an interesting plot point to explore further. Question number 5. Will Minnie ever discover that Bob killed his father? The revelation that Bob murdered David, Mary's first husband and Minnie's father, was a key plot point that didn't go anywhere in the end. Was David a work assignment, or did Bob kill him out of jealousy for being married to the woman he loved? I suppose it was more personal because he was killed with a blunt weapon rather than a gun, which is Bob Biswas's weapon of choice. Now poor Mary gets killed the moment she finds out Bob's dark secret, or perhaps she dies without knowing that Bob killed David, her first husband. Minnie is already quite upset with Bob as she holds him responsible for her mother and brother's deaths, and she also was shown to struggle with the fact that he is her stepfather. Will Bob ever tell her the truth, or will she stumble upon his secret on her own? What happens if and when she finds out Bob's dark secret about her father? She has already shot Bob once, albeit under the influence of drugs. But will she avenge her father's murder by killing off Bob for good? Now that would be a cool idea for a sequel. Question number 6. What happened to Khalida? The most interesting character in the film is an elderly man called Khalida who runs a pharmacy. He is played by Bengali veteran Paran Bandyopadhyay like a mythical figure, the bridge between good and evil, and he even provides important life advice to Bob Biswas. We also see him handing over a bag to Bob towards the end. Apart from guns and ammunition, what else was inside the bag? Now he could certainly play an important role in any upcoming film or miniseries involving Bob and Vidya. Hopefully, you can see that although there are a number of plot points left hanging in Bob Biswas, they also leave the possibility of having some very interesting storylines being explored in a future movie. And that would make Bob Biswas quite a franchise. Don't you agree? Would you guys be willing to watch further sequels or a mini-series about Bob Biswas? Let me know in the comments below. So that's a wrap guys, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to my new video on Bob Biswas. Let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on the ending. If you think this video was helpful, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified for future reviews. And finally, if you did like my video, please do smash the like button. See you guys in the next one.